listening to the Shite Talk podcast show. Shut up and sit down.
Welcome once again to the Shite Talk podcast show. Mark and Ken.
What's up?
On episode 100 or 230 of the Shite Talk podcast show.
Fucked it up, Mark.
Yeah, shit. Is it? I know. In a few episodes' time, it'll be 2, 3, 4.
I thought you were going to say there, I forgot to press record.
Well, that would actually be in a saving because they could do the intro better.
Oh, well.
Did you celebrate Tuesday?
No.
Did you?
I celebrated my birthday.
Oh, yeah, it was your birthday. Oh, my God. It was a special birthday on a day that only comes every 100 years. That's pretty cool.
Is it every 100 years?
I don't know. I heard it off the radio.
Every 1,000 years.
1,000 years. That's even more special, Ken. I always thought there'd be more for it. I thought people would be like, buy a car for €200 and 22 something, or have this house for €2. Like, yeah, I thought there'd be some way so people would be capturing like deals on Tuesday.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was a thing until yesterday.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't. People didn't know. Oh, come soon, 222.
But then everybody's like, "Oh my god!" Like it's like, yeah, the people don't know that this was coming, but everybody made a bigger deal out of it than it should have been.
Well, you know what? It's just like, oh, that's interesting, and like, it's like as you write it down, like. It's the second or it's 22nd of the second 2020, but people put 22, so it was just all the twos.
Yeah.
But like some people also put it would be 220222 if you write it properly, because you meant put the 0.
Yeah.
On the 2. People just try to get to what they want to see. That's all I'm getting at. It's not a special day. I was trying to see, like, as Americans write it month, day, year, don't they?
Yeah.
This is weird.
I don't know why they do that.
Yeah, so would it be the same? It would be the same, because it's the same front ways as backwards ways. There was a name on this, Ken.
Yeah, it's, I can't remember it.
It starts with P.
Does it?
Yeah, it's like a something name.
What?
It starts with a P, okay? This is a show without internet, okay?
Hey, I gotta Google it.
Yeah, get on that now. Get on that there.
A palindrome.
A palindrome, see? I told you. No, also I learned this week that Savoy is also a cabbage. So this is only interesting for people.
Did you not know this?
No, I didn't know this. It was on a quiz. I wondered, what's another name for what is a Savoy other than a cinema? And people are like, you're one like, I don't know, cabbage, and you're like, it is a cabbage. I was like, Jesus, what a guess.
You didn't know that.
Well, either did she. She got right in the quiz. But yeah, no, I didn't know that. Why did they name a fucking cinema after a cabbage? By the way, this is only interesting for people who know Dublin or who has been into. Everyone else is just like, Savoy.
I think it's a proper cinema brand, though, isn't it?
Is it?
It's not. I don't think it's only in Dublin, is it?
Savoy. Maybe it is. I haven't heard of any other Savoy. I thought it was the oldest cinema in Dublin or in Ireland.
Yeah, it could be the oldest cinema in Dublin, but it's in the UK, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think.
All right. Maybe it was a UK brand from very long ago.
It opened in 1929.
This is what happens when you come into a show without too many stories to talk about. You go, oh yeah, Google what's about the Savoy.
Oh, there was controversy in 1934.
Oh yeah.
And there was a demonstration because the cinema screened a newsreel of the marriage of Prince George, the Duke of Kent, to Princess Marina.
Oh my God! Down with that sort of thing.
Down with that sort of thing.
I thought maybe that you're going to come back with something like that could have been the inspiration for the Father Ted episode.
Yeah, that probably was the inspiration for it.
That would have been pretty funny, but I don't know if it would have been about Prince. You've made it the popular cinema. There's even pictures of you standing for a photo outside the cinema.
Down with this sort of thing.
Yeah. The episode that launched 1,000 protests.
Yeah.
Every protest ever, since then, been there in Ireland, there's been someone holding a sign with down with that sort of thing.
Yeah, somebody else once says, "Careful now."
Yeah, exactly. It was brilliant. Yeah, so we could be talking about a lot this week. You know, we could be like it's a week that aliens were spotted in Pakistan.
No, they weren't really though.
That Russians were spotted in Ukraine.
Right, that happened.
And I think there was some other story that happened. But we're not going to be talking about any of that, Ken.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about students making rocket fuel on our
As you
ideas of
do.
the week. We'll be talking about why more attractive people have a better immunity to COVID-19.
You're welcome.
And why a student almost lost a leg after eating his friend's takeaway.
It seems like the kind of friend that you don't want.
I don't know, like, you know, you go into your friend's house next day, or if you've been out drinking and there's leftover takeaway. Are you one of these people who prefer to the next day?
Not really.
My sister would have done this the whole time when we were, growing up. She was a younger sister, and we come in with takeaway or whatever and be left out overnight, or sometimes we put back in the fridge and she'd reheat it and have it the next day for our breakfast. Sure, food, and just have curry chips that are reheated, and we're like, that is disgusting and possibly has some change in it. Do not stick that in the microwave.
Is your sister going to hate you now for pointing that out? No,
but I am kind of nervous now of things that I might say on air. 'Cause, like, a recent relative has started their podcast, Ken. Alright. I'm on episode 7. I was like, you don't generally start at the first podcast. She says, like, is there any good episodes to listen to? And I was like, no.
It'll be a while before they get here.
They're like, yeah, exactly. It'll be a long. Good luck if they. I'm surprised they got to episode 7. They've done well so far. But yeah, I always thought, like, if you do start a podcast, you start on the newest episodes and you work your way down.
Yeah,
unlike showering yourself. Unlike, yeah, so it was like, yeah, and then my sister, because we were talking, she said, "Oh, we started to listen to your podcast," and I was like, my sister's like, "No, you can't listen to that. It's like you will need therapy after." And I was like, "Wait, you listen to my podcast?" I was like, "Oh, yeah." I was like, I think she's more going off the few of the Instagram clips that might have been thrown up that she's just seen that we were talking about porn. Which is what you get if you go onto our Instagram videos. It's just us talking about weird things like girlfriends trying to kill their husband. Why are all girls mental? Look at the woman with the largest vagina.
I think it should be pointed out at the start of every show that Mark's opinions do not represent the opinions of the show.
Ken, instant discllaimer. Well, yeah, I am pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that was your opinion. If everyone just goes onto our Instagram now, pause this episode right now, we'll wait. And then they'll see Ken, as he did, seeing Ken had the exact same opinion. He's like, yeah, all girls are mental. So, I think if you go onto our Instagram, 18, you'll see, like, that's what Ken said about you. So yeah. And it's there for all to see. And the woman with the largest vagina, well, that's this fact. There was a girl with the largest ass there a while ago. And she's like, men are afraid of me. Or something like that.
Afraid of your farts.
Afraid of you sitting on them, probably. It's just an odd thing, though. It is a form of, like, body dysmorphia. You know, when they get to the stage where they're that size.
Yeah.
It's kind of just a form of body dysmorphia after that.
But really, any sort of elective cosmetic surgery would be a form of body dysmorphia.
Yeah, I guess you could even throw in if you have tattoos.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a form, a life form. Or even if you're mildly into exercising because we want to look better. Body dysmorphia.
Like, I think actually going through with like a procedure though to like change the way your body looks is definitely a form of body dysmorphia.
Yeah, well, I think researchers or studies sort of say like it's not really, it doesn't deserve like a name of it unless it negatively affects your life. So like, you know how bodybuilders, they need breathing apparatus and they have restrictions in their lives. So if that's affecting your life, then it comes a disorder. But if it doesn't affect your life, it's not a disorder. If you do things kind of like if a mouse is outside, it's rat, and if it's inside, it's a mouse.
I don't think that's how it works.
I think that's how it works, Ken. I've seen it on Beavis and Butthead. Or if you just live in denial that you don't have a problem, you have no disorders. I think nowadays it's better to have a disorder. Remember, people are always trying. There was a while ago where people were making up that they had different conditions.
Oh yeah, that still happens. People love a good condition.
Yeah, because I think people get like, I don't know, like ADHD is one that like I think people get diagnosed or say they have when they don't actually really have it.
Yeah.
I think some people are just a little bit overactive.
Isn't that where ADHD comes from?
Oh, well, I think
it's kind of in the name.
Attention deficit. Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, because like I don't really sit still too often. Like even when I'm lying down, I'll be fidgeting, and people have said, "Oh, that could be ADHD." It's like, no, it's not. It's just I drink too much coffee.
Yeah, you definitely could have ADHD.
Really?
If anybody I know has, well, there's two people I can think of. One of them definitely does have it because he got diagnosed. The other one is you.
Oh, really? Oh, fuck you, Ken. Get diagnosed with ADHD on a podcast. So this is a new low for the show.
I was just like you are very hyperactive.
I am hyperactive, but like it doesn't negatively affect me though. I don't think so.
But it doesn't. Like I don't think it actually has to negatively affect. Like people just put fucking names on things now.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Like that's what I mean in terms of the disorder. Like I don't know if you could call it like me just being a little bit fidgety or having a bit too much energy as a negative.
Or it could be like 17 cups of coffee.
See, that's the other thing. I also drink a lot of coffee. Could be also why I don't do a lot. And it could also be also linked to why I have a high kind of metabolism also, because if I'm constantly moving, my body's constantly burning calories. So
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so it could actually have a benefit. Disorders can be called disorders if they're benefits.
I have no problem having a disorder if it's a benefit.
Yeah, I have attention awesome disorder. So fuck you, science. That's how I'm classing myself.
Mark.
I'd also class our first story as a fucking gobshite.
Right, go on.
Because I was thinking we'll kick off our idiots of the week, which is created by idiots for idiots, and it's where people do dumb things. I think I said that differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of everything was there, but in a different order.
In a different order.
Have you ever tried any home experiments?
Me and my friend set his wall on fire with a can of links in. And,
What were you? Trying to see, Ken, through this experiment?
it was like when you're at that age, like how old were you? Like, fucking 10 or 11, where you kind of figure out that links in a lighter makes fire.
Oh yeah, it makes flamethrower.
Yeah.
Me and my friends wasn't at home, but we turned a camera, disposable camera, into a taser. It was the greatest experiment we ever did. We went around tasing people on our school trip. Was even better. Like, my sister was on this trip with us, and like we just basically exposed a piece of metal, and it was like connected to the battery, and then we just tipped it off people, and they got a shock. And then you had to get fucking idiots to touch it. Like it's the plastic you couldn't rub it off someone's skin unless like you got up really close to them. So we had to find idiots to say, like, here, touch this, and they touched it, and they got like an almighty shock. So we got my sister to do it, and she fucking screamed like really loud. And then one of the teachers came out, and she got in trouble for it. We ran off. We tasered her, and she got in trouble. So, yeah. Does the injustice in her face.
Did she rat on you when you got home?
No, she didn't. No.
Yeah, no. She's a grand.
Snitches get stitches. She knows the score. But yeah, and then another time, I wanted to turn a manual coffee grinder into a automated coffee grinder. So, like, the coffee grinder had this like kind of handle that you twisted, and there's a nut on top of it, and that you twist around that span like a cog, which would very slowly crush coffee beans into a fine paste. And it was taking forever, and it was actually kind of heavy. The turn was a fucking pain in the hole. So I decided to try to automate it, and using my brain. My dad's still
using my brain. Yeah, good thinking, Mark.
Yeah. And I attached it to the drill and held it, and tried to spin it using the drill while holding it.
Oh.
So the thing just span in my hands to where my sisters and one of my sister's boyfriends, who's a mechanic, was just staring at me like with pure disgust. And I tried to put the drill down, realizing it wasn't working, while still holding the drill on, which then was just bouncing off the marble countertop. To the point where my sister had to say, "Let it go." So I didn't get finely ground coffee.
No, I wouldn't say that worked.
No, it didn't work at all. So kind of feel your man's pain.
Feel his pain.
Because his experiment caused his dorm to be evacuated, which displaced 22 people. He was trying to make rocket fuel.
Yeah, I don't get where he was going with this.
Which caused like a fireball, basically. It became unstable, which shock, horror, that when you try to make a homemade rocket fuel, that it comes unstable.
And it might blow up.
Yeah, he wasn't really named, I don't think, in the story. It just said he was in the college of BYU, which I've never heard of as well. was it in the US, and he says that unnamed residents tried to make homemade rocket fuel on a stove of all places. The volatile mixture suddenly exploded and engulfed the walls. The heat was so intense that caused the fire sprinklers to come on in the dorm. And they showed photos of the room, and it's actually the amount of actually water those fucking sprinklers let off is incredible. Like, for some reason, there's a toilet like in the living area. It's just sitting up against the wall. So I don't know if like you're meant to be sharing it with a person, but like surely you're going for a shit. Nobody look. Like, it was just seemed odd. But anyway, I don't know if or maybe he just kind of as a, you know how you come home with things from fucking nights out. Sometimes you just take things. Maybe he came home with a toilet one time. He's like, I'm keeping it as a trophy.
It's my new toilet.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going in my living room.
Yeah, and there's my trophy. It's my trophy. I need it. But anyway, you could see in the picture that the toilet bowl was just like filled with water, and there's like probably good 100 millimeters of water all over the wall, like in terms of like raised up. But anyway, yeah, well, I guess that's slowed the spread. It was a good thing. It was the slow spread of the fire, when the fire brigade made their job a little bit easier. But it still caused probably extensive water damage to the building and led to like 22 residents being fucked out of the dorm because of it. There was no like it didn't say, this article was weird because it didn't actually say like what happened to the man. Like they didn't say he was expelled. And it kind of it kind of fell down to the terms of boys will be boys almost. Like kids today kind of a thing, because they said like the police were like, oh, we're unaware like why he tried to make it, but we believe that it wasn't malicious, so he wasn't doing it to make an actual bomb or for like negative consequences. I guaranteed basically what that reads to me as they sat him down in an investigation where I was like, so what were you trying to do? And he was like, I don't know.
And they were like, yeah.
You realize that it was very dangerous, yeah? What did you do? I don't know. They're like, oh, boys will be boys. I remember when I was a kid. But yeah, like, I kind of think most people know a person like that. They think they're smarter than they are and try to do stupid shit like that.
I know somebody like that.
Yeah, and create a taser. Yeah, I know a person like that.
Yeah, I know somebody who like tried to make napalm.
What are the ingredients of napalm, or did he know?
I don't have a clue, but yeah, he knew.
He knew, and how did that go for him?
It didn't work.
That's good. You ever see on those TV shows where when you buy certain ingredients, like maybe it's in the US where intelligence has like a person has bought these 3 ingredients and it's flagged as suspicious or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't there. Didn't we have a story a while ago? There was a guy who had created some kind of load of bombs, and it wasn't for a terrorist. It was just like in case of like zombies or something like that.
Yeah, it was just like for the crack thing.
Yeah, like he was a survival nut, and he was just like he had like homemade pipe bombs and stuff like that.
These lads always like fucking. I don't know, they're always nut jobs.
Yeah, but I guess like I know growing up, like me and my friends all had like zombie survival like tactics.
Did you have an inflatable boat?
Good point. Good point. Living in a long landlocked part of Ireland that never floods.
Yeah. Like, what was that about?
Yeah. Well, do you know what? My geography sucked, but my preparations nonetheless. I definitely blame TV on kids. Like, I definitely probably was watching something that was like, I need to prepare. Like, I kind of understand if I lived in a place that always flooded.
Yeah, but you
Don't.
don't.
Which sucks. Like, when you fucking prepare for it, but you kind of want it to flood. You kind of like want to see this. Finally, I guarantee there's these doomsday preppers that when there's like a situation, they're like, finally. And they're just delighted that it happened.
Well, your flood never came anyway.
No, it never fucking came. Maybe I went up to some part of Cork or some fucking Kerry or maybe Athlone. That floods a lot.
Athlone?
Yeah, well, there's like, they wanted a lot of houses in Athlone, and they're like, no, it's fucking, that's on a floodplain. All your houses, like, will fucking, if you build there, like, your houses will constantly have fucking flooding issues. And now there's a load of houses with flooding issues, fucking dick cunts. And I was like, oh, this is a joke. And they're like, well, you were warned about this. And like, they literally, like, they were told not, they were, and then they like campaigned and got like political pressure for them to fucking build their fucking houses. It's like, we'll build the houses. And then this is like, now all the residents there like living on a floodplain. They're like, fucking dick cunts.
But they didn't know.
They were warned. They were warned. Yeah. So then, like, next story that I have, I'm just trying to see if I have because I've only 3 stories to be honest with you, and then we're just going to play classical music apparently. And
you're not supposed to give away that
part. All right.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a secret.
All right. Well, I think when they hear the classical music, they might be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, or now they know to turn off before the classical music starts.
So, like, I've good news for myself. In this one, this was done now. I'm going to say the research might be questionable based off the university, but you know they could do good science. It was conducted by the Texas Christian University, Ken.
Oh, yeah.
And it was only published in the Proceeding of Royal Society B. It doesn't seem like the most scientific paper, but nonetheless, let's look down anyway. Let's see what this Christian University came across. And it's, the more attractive you are, the stronger immunity to COVID could be. So I don't know if that maybe means like it stops you from getting COVID.
Yeah, it means I'm okay, Mark, and you caught COVID, so...
I was okay with COVID. It could have been the vaccine.
Yeah, but you still caught it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like, in fairness...
You haven't read scientific research. You're the one that brought the scientific research into the fold.
Oh, well, maybe I'm not as beautiful as I think then. Which brings up a giant question that, hey, how come Ken still hasn't got COVID? So,
don't hate the pretty people.
Yeah, okay. I'm beauty hating now, right? So researchers took photos of blood tests done by 79 women and 80 men, nearly 500 volunteers. That's where researchers went out and found the most beautiful people they could find. I knew I missed a call a few weeks ago. And now, basically, they have a definition of what a beautiful person is. So they're not just going like, send a load of research out and going 7, 6, 2, 4, 6, 5, 9, get her. And bring it in. But they have actual criteria they look for to show that you're beautiful. So if you have this criteria, you are scientifically beautiful.
Right, so what's the criteria?
But I must say to all our listeners, you are beautiful in our eyes, even though we don't see you, which is probably a good thing. So here's the scientific criteria of what makes a beautiful person. They have clear skin.
Right.
Prominent cheekbones.
Right.
Do I have prominent cheekbones? I don't think I do.
I don't have clear skin. Come on.
Yeah, I have greasy as fuck skin. They have bright eyes. And they have full red lips. has been deemed an attractive trait throughout human history, Ken. And this bypasses all cultures and other criteria. This is what human beings, apparently all over the world, find very attractive. I would point researchers to a song called I Like Big Butts also. Because that also is a criteria for a lot of successful mates. And boobs. I don't know, like, what do you call it? Personality, though. Well, if you just have a nice personality, how does that help with COVID? Apparently, fuck all.
It doesn't have COVID at all.
Apparently, it actually makes it worse. You become a giant spreader.
Better off being a cunt.
Yeah. Being a negative cunt that doesn't like talking to people, but are secretly attractive. Yeah, so after gathering the most successful, most beautiful people they could find, they looked at their bloods, and they found that their blood work was greater than ugly people. I don't know if they gathered ugly people as well and looked at their bloods.
How did they prove any of this?
So, apparently they have higher Collie bioparticles, higher baso count, lower neutrophil counts, and there's a thing called greater NK cell toxicology, which I imagine if you're studying medicine right now, you're like, oh, that's very interesting. To us, it's just like, Mark's probably mispronounced every single one of these. He's a bit thick. They also have higher S something growth plasma. So yeah. So they're basically blood markers are a lot better than ugly people, or than the norm. So like if they, let's say you have 6 Collie bioparticles and they have 7 or 8, 9, and they're like, whoa, that's a lot.
Did they infect a lot of people with COVID to see what happened?
See, that's what I want the next part of this research to be, is they find people who aren't vaccinated, who haven't got COVID, but are beautiful. It's going to be very hard right now, and then give them COVID. Then make them breed the COVID.
What happens there?
They have a load of sick, beautiful people that needs to be looked after.
There's a lot of good-looking people that are dead.
Who are sick. Who are vomiting and diarrhea. Beautiful, beautiful dead people. Most well-dressed funerals.
Yeah, it makes no fucking sense to anyone.
Well, so they think it might be linked to kind of why we consider people to be attractive, because they're showing all the hallmarks of a healthy person. Means they make great kids, and like I said, monkey brain spread disease all over the world. So what we find beautiful, what we find most attractive, is our monkey brain sees a person with lovely cheekbones and a nice jumper with clear skin. And
hang on. You were the one that's always giving out about people jump.
I admit, I have a weird stance on jumpers, alright? I have a weird stance on jumpers. I equally hate them. Also, I can see how to get more mates.
Is the reason that you give out about jumpers because you find our friend who wears a jumper attractive when he wears a jumper?
Definitely not.
Is this what we're getting at now, Mark?
He doesn't wear a jumper. He wears a cardigan. He should be bullied.
A cardigan's just a jumper with a zip.
He should be bullied. He should be bullied and punished and ridiculed for wearing a cardigan. And
Mark, you can't hear about that one now.
Shut up. Yeah, so basically facial attractiveness opposed to jumper attractiveness basically is an insight into a human's immune function. And our monkey brains know this, but our non-monkey brains, us, don't know this. So we're like, well, they're just good looking. They're just beautiful. This is genetics. Really, it's immune function thing. It's what we're actually. It's not people's facial features we find attractive. It's actually people's immune systems that we find attractive. So next time you want to go, hey, I like your immune system. Next time you see a nice healthy person.
Yeah, because that won't get you any like fucking.
You have a nice immune system. I like your immune system. See how it gets you.
Yeah, see how you get out of that one.
I'd love to see your toxicology.
Oh, I can tell you already where that's going to go.
Yeah. Maybe like I said, maybe if you start these chat lines around a medicine place or coppers, you get like some
Coppers
nurse that's doing medicine, like haha, but pays a medical. Good one. I don't know, but yeah. So beautiful people, don't catch COVID and can look down on us.
kind of look down on us.
Yes, they stand on the ledge above all us ordinary looking people with ugly non-clear skin and cardigans.
All you people that you COVID
freckles
spreaders.
Yeah, but there is a like. Oh, did you hear the other thing was the Queen got COVID as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not beautiful.
I don't know if you know us, but she's not that attractive.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, that's also apparently even as you got older, you retain these like attractive traits. So like your lips are continue to be red, your skin continues to be clear. But they also link like how young you look is actually your actual age. So like people look at you and go, Jesus, I would have said you're 35. Or you don't look 40. Like would mean that like 40. Yeah, it would mean that like you're probably not a 40 biomarkers. Your biomarkers. But someone goes, if you say, oh, I'm 30, and people go, what? I thought you were 42. It means
have you ever seen somebody who you've thought is like older than they are?
Yeah. There's a lot of people like that. I was like, I always just say, Jesus, you had a troubled life. That's very like, you had a hard upbringing.
The fuck happened to you?
There's a guy that used to wear suits around in our old gym, and I thought he was like in his fucking mid-20s when he came in, and I was like, oh, what do you work as? And he was like, I'm 17. I was like, okay, nice suit. Fucking weirdo. So that's one person that I thought was a lot older.
Any other examples where you thought somebody didn't look their age?
No, there was an example where I was asked a girl's age, what I thought a girl's age was. So like you can do the like, oh, I'm gonna actually go a lot younger, an obvious age that you're clearly not, because it's better to go underage, or you could go the other way and go, I'm gonna say that they're a lot older and just be kind of take the piss. Like I'm clearly just taking the piss saying that they're this age when they don't actually look this age. But when the person gets offended, probably means they weren't that age, but they weren't that age that they can't get too offended that someone called it. And yeah. Go to if anyone asks the girl's age, first of all, I learned from that is go younger. Go a lot younger. Never go older than what you think it is.
That's something you should have learned years ago.
I was taking the piss, Ken. I was doing that as a lol. I didn't think people thought I was actually that. I thought I've given a ridiculous answer. Like, no way she could be that age. Look how funny I am.
How did that work out?
Oh, I'm not allowed in her house. Yeah, didn't go well. It didn't go well.
Worked out well.
It worked out. Probably worked out for the best. But yeah, that's what I learned. I have now a new rule though. whatever age someone asks me, if they say the age, whatever age I think with them, I always take off 3 years, and girls 5. So if a girl goes to me, how old do you think I am? And I think they're 30. I go, oh God, you don't look 27. And really, I think you're 30. But I'm gonna say 27. And they're, oh Jesus, really?
That's.
And when they say, "Oh, Jesus, spot on," I go, "Thank fuck."
You kind of think, oh, yeah,
thank you, yeah. But that is when if someone asks what age they think, that is a no win, and like you're never gonna come out like on, whoa, even if you get it right, to be like, oh yeah, I'm that age.
What age do you think I am, Mark?
What age do you think? I think you're nearly 40.
Fuck you, Mark.
You nearly did. No, I haven't seen you in a while. So you don't be at training. You're always working. So I haven't actually got to see your face recently. But I did think you were. I didn't think looking at you there. I thought you last time I seen you, you looked 35, and you're about 35.
I'm only 34, Mark.
Are you?
Yeah.
But last few years, you looked 35. But you haven't got any older looking. So eventually, you're going to grow into your age.
That's what he says. Last few years have been rough.
Yeah, last few years have been rough. You had a hard life last few years, but you haven't. Something has obviously went well in your life because you're getting like you're starting to catch up in what age you look. You haven't gone get older. You haven't gone. Oh Jesus, I'd say he's late 30s. Well, maybe you have. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, well, you look 50, Mark.
No, I don't. I look a lot younger. I still look younger than I am, like, which used to be a pain in the hole because I'd like get abuse off bouncers and bartenders alike.
You look like somebody who should be wearing iron jumpers.
Yeah. 22, 24, and I ordered some Mexican beer. Bartender got a savage put down. It was just like, it was so good. You're like, yeah, I'll go away now. He's like, you'll have what? Does your mother know you're drinking that or something like that? I can't remember what he said. I just remember,
I remember going to a nightclub with somebody that we used to train with.
Yeah.
And he had recently just shaved his head.
Yeah.
And we got up to the door and the bouncer wouldn't let him in. The bouncer was like, no. You can fuck off, you Ted Bundy looking motherfucker.
I was trying to think about who that was now. I think I know now. Yeah. I think I know who you're talking about.
It's just like, what?
Yeah. Motherfucker. Yeah. So now our final story is maybe a cautionary tale, and it's about a student who his friends hadn't taken it or somebody's leftover a takeaway and ended up developing sepsis.
He got sepsis.
Yeah, from fucking eating his friend's takeaway. Now, would you be a person who thinks takeaways taste better the next day? They're like a stew; they get better with time.
Like, I don't really like. It depends on the takeaway. Like, I'm not a big pizza fan, right? But I like pizza if you get it with like no sauce on it. I'll eat pizza that way, but I do prefer pizza the next day.
So, if you by yourself gets pizza that no one else will eat, you're just saying like, but like basically it's not just like a toasted cheese.
Well, you've got other stuff on it, and it's but it's not like bread. It's like pizza dough.
Fair enough. Okay.
And there's like olive oil on it. There's like olive oil on it, and there's no. I just don't like that red sauce shit.
Yeah, like there's certain pizzas that I like the next day are all right, but I still prefer a fresh pizza over. I don't think it tastes better than fresh pizza. Like if I had to pick between pizza that's been in a fridge a day or fresh pizza. I'm picking fresh pizza. I don't understand people, even takeaways. The only thing actually does scientifically taste better the next day is stew.
Oh no.
Yeah, stew the next day tastes way better than fresh stew.
Ugh.
You don't like stew?
I used to like it when I was a kid.
See, that's a different thing, Ken. That's not saying that it doesn't taste better the next day. That's to say that I don't like stew.
The next day it goes off funny.
It goes thick. It thickens.
Yeah, like that's rotten.
That's what you want. Then you're drinking soup, watery soup.
Ugh.
So, he suffered an aggressive bacterial infection that made his kidneys fail. His blood began to clot, and the US student lost both his legs and part of his hand after developing sepsis caused by eating his friend's leftover chicken.
As you do.
Yeah, so it says chicken noodles, but then, anyway, as we go down, I don't know who wrote this article, basically.
So you got sepsis from chicken noodles. And then eating chicken the next day is a bit dodgy.
Would you not have a chicken curry and chips the next day?
No.
Cooked chicken the next day is grand. I had chicken curry 3 days old there.
But if it's properly refrigerated.
Yeah, that's when my parents are like, you'll get sick if you eat that. That's there 3 days. I was like, no, it's not. Well, it is, but it's grand. You can eat things 3 days later. I always err on the side that I can probably have it. Give it a sniff test kind of thing, and then if it's left over a day, I know a few people are like, throw that out. That's not wild. You couldn't eat that.
I generally wouldn't eat something that was left over the next day unless it was like pizza.
Unless it was just bread.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So he became immediately sick after eating the takeaway. According to it, he had no prior allergies, and 20 hours before he felt fine. Hadn't felt sick at all. After eating it, he developed abdominal pain, nausea. I think he also had chest pain, and I think he might have got diarrhea after eating. It says after he ate his rice, chicken, and lo mein leftovers. So.
Oh, there you go. Hang on, rice. Rice is the problem there.
So you can't have rice either.
You can't. You're not supposed to eat leftover rice.
Maybe it was because it was maybe a friend was the carrier of this thing, and then he ate that because we'll get into it anyway. After further testing, a bacteria was discovered called Neisseria, which is a form of meningitis.
Yeah, rice.
Can you get Neisseria from meningitis or from rice?
Leftover rice, you can get salmonella, listeria, a couple of other things.
Yeah, anyway, this can be actually fatal, and it's believed that he missed the booster jab of his meningitis vaccine because it's Neisseria is a form of meningitis, and when he was 16, which would have prevented him from catching. So if you had your booster of vaccine, you can eat all the rice you want whenever you can, and you won't.
No, you still can't eat all the rice you want.
Yeah, I've eaten rice the next day.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
I've heard that is actually better for you.
No.
Once you cook it.
That's kind of even worse.
I don't know. Ask Google there. Can you eat cooked rice the next day if you heat it up?
Once a rice dish has been left at room temperature, bacteria will multiply and produce toxin.
Why have you cooked it though?
I'm assuming you've already cooked it. It's already cooked.
Why have you reheat it?
I definitely don't think you can reheat rice.
I don't really generally eat reheated rice, but I've often had it the next day. Like if I make chili con carne, I'll throw it into a lunchbox, and I'll make extra rice, and I'll have that next day in work. You
have to reheat it to at least 165 degrees Fahrenheit.
There you go. See? Science. Well, I've had a rice the next day. I'll be fine. Don't go off my thing. Well, I haven't got sick off it. the infection got in through his saliva and developed gangrene through tissue, which resulted in parts of his fingers being amputated along with his leg from the knee down. It was disgusting. Yeah, that was all from eating like leftover takeaway.
Yeah.
And missing his vaccine. That's why you should get your vaccines, kids.
Yeah, I funny story, I had gangrene.
Did you?
Yeah.
How did you get gangrene?
When I got appendicitis.
Appendicitis is developed into gangrene. And how do
Yeah.
they treat gangrene? They dip it into a solution.
They kept me in hospital for 3 weeks on some sort of a fucking mental drip.
Oh, it was a drip. I remember seeing a guy's staph infection. He trained somewhere in, I think, Carlo, and it got into the gym and kind of spread, and it just started to look like a spot first, and it was on his hand.
Yeah, and it goes all fucking horrible.
Yeah, like they basically, he had to dip his hand into iodine, but it like developed into a hole in his hand.
Yeah, it's sick.
Yeah, like it's just like it starts off, like I said, a freckle, and then it just fucking goes. And to be honest with you, like I don't really see it too much in Ireland, but apparently, like it's to do with mental light that's in a room, and the temperature, heat up temperature as well.
Yeah, it's sick. Like, well, obviously, I think gangrene is probably treated differently though. If it's like mine is internal, so like you can't really dip me in anything.
Yeah, no, exactly. If you get like a staph infection, it's like it's but
Generally on the edge.
yeah, but yeah, that's the only thing that like you often see in gyms, is where we in the kind of sport we that actually once it gets into a gym, it spreads everywhere. But lucky enough, though, I haven't heard of anyone getting staph. I've actually only heard of your man was the first person I heard of ever getting staph. And then I know
a guy.
know another person who we train with that got it, but he caught it early.
I know a guy that he trains. He doesn't train with us. He doesn't even train in the gym that we used to train in. But he had staph. He went to Brazil for 6 months, I think.
Yeah.
He caught staph, and he came back, and he had enrolled. Like he had signed up for the Irish Open.
Yeah.
And he had staph when he came back. And well, when he came back, he was like, "Oh, I think that's staph." And he said it to his coach. He's like, "Is that staph?" And his coach was like, "Yeah, but just saying nothing."
Oh my god, what has come back?
Yeah. His coach was like, "Just say nothing, just compete, say nothing."
That is a joke. And like, did he actually compete?
I'm not sure whether or not he competed, but I don't think he trains in that gym anymore.
Yeah, no, that's not a fucking good thing. See, that's why you can't trust people. People just don't give a fuck. You're like, oh, sure.
Yeah, his coach is like, don't say it, don't say anything.
They'll only make a big deal about it.
Yeah, but it was like he had come second in his category the year before, and the only guy to beat him wasn't competing this year. So his coach is like, "You're going to win it this year if you compete. So don't say anything."
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like I don't know. I think that's bad though.
It's a little bit knackery.
Saying that, I was just looking at a cut in my finger. It's like, oh, that's inward dent.
Is that staph?
Hey, coach, after training, does this look like staph? But like in Ireland, I'd nearly say if you end up to most coaches in Ireland, they wouldn't know what a staph infection looked at. But guaranteed,
it's probably because we don't call it staph in this country.
Well, yeah, but I think we like it's kind of common in the sport to call it staph infection. What's the name we call it?
MSRA.
What?
MSRA.
Do we get a vaccine for that?
No.
Oh, that's the MNRA vaccine.
MMR.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, you said initials. That's okay. We get initial vaccine. All right.
Like it's rampant in hospitals.
Yeah, but like I said, like if you go into most gyms in Ireland, like and you said, I think this is staph or MN whatever. There you go. I don't know. Fucking don't train if you think it is. Fuck off. But like they wouldn't be able to tell you on the spot. Whereas even if they've been training a long time, because they haven't, I see most people wouldn't have come across it in gyms. I don't really hear too many people get. I hear the odd case here and there.
Yeah, it's kind of like ringworm is kind of the thing that you hear most.
Yeah, here you hear a lot of people with ringworm. I've got ringworm before. I think I got it twice before here, but like you can get cream for that. That's not too bad.
Yeah,
I remember seeing like some guy opened his bag and the cream that you have for it, he had like 4 or 5 like tubs of this cream. I was like, what's with all the cream, man? Like he's like, oh, anytime I get a spot ranting, I just rub this stuff on it just in case it is ringworm. I was like, fair enough.
Yeah, or else he had ringworm. He just
it just covers it up. Yeah, but that's the words of wise if you get like if you have takeaway. But like once again, I've leftover rice the next day, and apparently if you heat up past what was it, 100 degrees Celsius,
it passed 75 degrees.
Yeah, so 100 degrees will be fine, and you can have it the next day.
Yeah, I still wouldn't chance it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like they pointed to the fact that he missed a vaccine when he was 16 that caused him to.
You know that I looked that up as well. You know how unlucky he is.
What?
Only 2% of meningitis infections are caused by listeria.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So like he had like a 98% chance of nothing ever happened to him. But yeah. That's the other thing. Like, do you think after this whole COVID thing, will people come? I think it'll split people because the big thing of it was like, I'm not an anti-vaxxer because I've had prior vaccinations and I have no problem with them. It's this new one that I have a problem with, but like I don't know if this will change people's opinion. I think, like, I don't know how this will affect vaccines going into the future.
In what way?
It will affect them negatively. Will people be more inclined to be pro-vaccines, like after a deadly pandemic? You know, even not just in with COVID, with other ones where there was a long-running disease that was cured through vaccinations. Like if you think of all the previous ones, where our grandparents or our parents would know of like kids dying of like these diseases that are now cured by vaccinations quite commonly and were eradicated, like they would have been kind of pro-vaccine in terms of medicine because they've seen like taking rid of it. But with all the politicalization of this vaccine and all the other shit with it, will people be kind of inclined just to think that there'll be certain people think that there's some kind of like government conspiracy bullshit, or will people be like they're one of the greatest inventions that we've ever come across still?
I don't think it'll change people.
You think people just like whoever was proud of them was continue? Because there was a growing number of people who weren't getting their kids vaccinated because they wouldn't have come across these diseases, and they're like, what's the point putting this?
Yeah, they were doing stupid things like being like, oh, like polio doesn't exist in Ireland anymore. It doesn't exist anymore because you get vaccinated for it.
Yeah, exactly. So, I wonder if like how will affect it? Will people be more inclined to take like stuff like polio vaccines more and stuff like that?
I don't think so, because you're going to get a lot of like anybody I know who hasn't got it.
Have they gone anti-vaccine about everything?
Yeah, they got vaccinated for everything except like anybody that I know who hasn't got the COVID vaccine. Isn't likely to get it because they're like most of them have caught it, and it didn't affect them very badly. So they're like, there's no need. Like it's a load of shite.
Well, I kind of agree with them in that sense. Whereas if you catch, I don't get the flu vaccine because for the same reason. If I caught it, and I'd get better, but like you still have antibodies from the whole from catching it. So like for a certain amount of months, and if you were to catch it again, you're probably not going to get sick, and then you'd have memory B cells that would activate as soon as you catch it, which would help you get better. As long as you isolate once you get it. Like that's I think there's like a few sorts of people who, if they catch it and they isolate and do everything other right, then fair enough, you didn't need to get vaccinated and you haven't spread it. But if you're kind of the ones that tend to go to work or go, fuck it, everyone else has caught it now, I'm not going to isolate, then I think you're a piece of shit.
You see, you've also got this shite that people are saying, like, I've been told 3 or 4 times by people who have caught it that you can't catch it twice. When you clearly can catch it twice.
I know loads of people who catch it twice, but I think you have like a 3-month window where you have strong immunity to it. Like, since I've caught it over Christmas, and I was in very close contact with two confirmed cases, but I think I might have been in contact with a third person as well who had it, and I didn't catch COVID those two times. I don't know if necessarily if in that 3-month window, if you hadn't caught it but you're in contact with it, does necessarily get a boost, because the infection attempts to get into your body and then gets kind of stopped by your antibodies. I don't know if that boost means that your body creates more antibodies from that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, no, like, that's why I don't know. I think it could go 2 different ways with people, this whole thing.
Yeah, I think there's still a lot of idiots out there.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, definitely there will be there'll still be anti-vaxxers out there, and not just with COVID, with other vaccines as well. But the technology is now developed in such a way that they're going to be bringing out more and more new vaccines to cure everything from cancer to, they think they can get like an AIDS vaccine from the RNA technology. And they think that there's going to be like a huge number of vaccines coming out in the next few years. So I don't know, especially with all these other new vaccines that I don't know what people's attitude on vaccines in general will be after all that.
Yeah, I think it'll just make people worse. Anybody who's like against this one is not likely to get any new ones.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. But then if you look at the amount of people, well, at least in Ireland, who got vaccinated, was like, I think 95%, I think it might go up to 97%. In terms of people who got it, so that's a huge number of people in Ireland, and we're probably one of the more higher number of countries in the world to get it. But like in Europe, like they're trying to bring out mandates. I think what they run the risk of doing is turning more and more people against it because they're being forced into taking it.
Yeah.
It's all interesting. Anyway, we'll leave it there for this week's random thought. It's like every now and again we go from like, oh, ugly people are dying to, hey, what do you think vaccine hesitancy is going to come an epidemic levels after this? And then we're like, no, be goofy again.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to become a fucking problem.
Yeah, it was anyway before this. You wouldn't know if like this. I would have thought at the start of all this that this could potentially create a generation of pro-vaccinated people, because anyone who's at risk would see this deadly pandemic come in, swipe through the world, load of people dying. Something comes along that can stop death rates, can stop hospitalizations through all age categories, and prevent people from dying of it. And they'll be like, oh my god, why wouldn't we take all these things? But it has, for a lot of people, gone the other way.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll leave it there. We'll be back next week.
Maybe.
I think this week's episode wasn't that controversial.
Yeah, no, it wasn't too bad.
When we say ugly people die of COVID, that was based on research. So, like,
you might have to issue an apology next week.
Yeah. Well,
again.
Well, anyone comes across our Instagram, Ken might have to give an apology. Just saying, Ken.
Are you going to edit some stuff?
Edit and make you look like bad. I'm like, hey. That's what I'll just say. I'll just say, hey.
Yeah, you can't say that.
And
You can't say that.
Yeah, exactly. Me going, you can't say that. I don't agree. Is I don't agree just sounds the exact same every time I say it. I don't agree. He's
Down with
copied
the
and
sort of
pasted down with this sort of thing. Anyway, we'll be back next week with our 131st show.
Yeah, 131.
Yeah.
It's a palindrome.
Oh my god, it is a palindrome. This doesn't happen every 100 years or 1,000 years. This happens every so often. Some mathematical person will be able to tell us how often this happens on our podcast.
Well, like with 3 numbers, it happens every 100.
Every 100 episodes. Ken's the maths person here. He's brains and bronze. That's,
You're bronze.
yeah, that's why. That's why our show is so weak. I'm factually correct. Talk to you next week. Oh no.